Hello everyone, welcome to Behind the Scenes. You're on Hairstyle Times. Gülkaren Aça, a proud graduate of Bahçeşehir Diyarbakır Science and Technology High School, has become a successful sophomore student in Stanford now. Today, we will have a chance to listen to her story, but let us introduce her first. Born in Diyarbakır and educated there until she graduated from high school, Gülkaren Aça completed 13 years of primary and secondary education with outstanding success and was accepted by 9 universities, including Harvard and Stanford. With her interesting life story and unique achievements, she appeared in various news channels. Let's listen to her in her own words. How's it going, Karen?
It's going well. What about you?
Yeah, it's going well for me too right now. And I have a question for you to start actually. We know that you excelled in various competitions and projects. Some of them, for example, Earth Prize were group works, and some of them, for instance, Rise were individual works. Which type of work was more efficient for you and why?
Assuming you mean just like um how would you say it? Um like a dominant element in the application by like meaning efficient. I suppose but that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Um and my answer would be I think it's important to have a good balance of both because like doing one of them ends up being important for the other and I think it's important to do both.
Yeah, thanks for the answer. And I actually have a second question regarding this. While creating your Earth Prize project, which actually came with extreme success for you, did you have a eureka moment or did you work with on a chosen problem with the process? I mean, was it determined before?
Um, do you mean like the submission process or just like finding the idea at the first place?
Finding the idea, that's the thing.
To be honest, the idea was one of my friends, and I just like been involved since he got the idea. And for me, just like feeling like the moments that I felt like I contributed the most was during the submission process while we were engaging in like making the project or making the idea more scientific or finding best ways to present it, including like writing the essays in like in a good format or um, thinking about what would be good to just add the project so that it will be more just like complementary like by parts. So I think my contribution on that end was after the idea was out there and once we started to make it more presentable in many ways.
Thanks for the answer. As much as I understood, it seems like your most of the contribution that you provided with us was actually the fact that you were extremely active during the development process and you actually contributed a lot when it came to the submission process as well. But I have a third question about this. Is it more effortful to get accepted to university or to study in university, in your opinion? I mean, is it harder to be in the university in that one place, or is it just harder to get accepted and then things just go their way in the university?
I thought about it a lot in my first year because the moment I came in, I was like, I struggled a lot and I thought I thought I knew how to study or I thought I knew how to commit to something. But like coming here, I realized that it's way harder than it was. But whenever I say it out loud, I feel bad for my like past version who like just like works every day and like day and night. So I think they're both a lot of work, but like in different ways. So back in high school, maybe I was like also focused on just like no, don't want to say also, but um, just like figuring out what would be good for me and like the huge like indefinite things around was like part of my experience. Like it was like a huge percentage of my experience. But right now it's like how am I going to understand this concept or how can I ask for help or what is best way to just like understand it in a way that could be useful for my like intellectual life. So different commitments, different ways, but all I think equally hard. Like they're both so hard, and I don't think that I've excelled like or just like not to say excel, but I don't think that I've learned how to be an undergrad student fully yet. So I'm still on that path.
Thanks for the answer. It seems like you are kind of mixed up on doing your opinion depending on the experiences that you've had in the college and also before the college, so it's completely understandable. I actually have a fourth question regarding the previous questions about the Earth Prize competition, so I'm going to ask them if they are okay with you. What do you think made you successful in competitions and programs such as Earth Prize and Rise despite working in Diyarbakir? As you know that Diyarbakir is a region that's less developed in innovation activities compared to the other regions in Turkey. What fueled this competition success? I mean, what made you successful in this competition?
Being around the right people, like hands down, that's the answer. Um, because for me, the timeline was like, okay, I need to seek an opportunity, and I just like find it out there. And I talked to my friends who could be interested, and they always ended up being the right people to talk to, because they were as excited as I am about like any idea that I brought up. And even though they had no like past experience or like no assumption about like how what could work out well, um being around them was like a huge element on that end. That's number one for sure. And two, I think I spent a lot of time thinking about what would be like the best way to develop this idea. And so I think these two were just like the main things.
Thanks for the answer. And I know for a fact that there will be a lot of people who will be watching this video and thinking, how can I actually get accepted into a university anyway? Like, what will make me stand out? So my question is about this right now. What do you think helped your application stand out beyond grades and test scores? Was there a particular aspect that you think universities valued the most or more than the other aspects? And what was the actual balance point for getting accepted? What is your opinion on this?
First of all, I feel like you never know unless you get the acceptance letter. I remember talking to my counselor, Jamil teacher, and in like December 20 or something like that, 10 days before the regular application deadline. And he was like, you know what? There's also a chance you don't go to anywhere. And I said, I really felt that because he really meant it. And even when you're like so close to it, maybe the people around you assume that you can go to somewhere. There's always like a chance that you may not. Okay, to be honest, there's also a chance that he said it to like scare me out, like freak me out, but it worked out that I still remember it. But I think just like recognizing that it's not always certain is like the first step, and like knowing that you want to commit regardless, because I see a lot of people just coming by and asking me how I can get in, but I don't know if I can get in. And I say that's very valid, but it's also important to know that you never will. And just like taking these 2 points aside, I think it's for me, what worked out best was one, like seeking out opportunities a lot. I would spend like a lot of time just searching for the opportunities around, be it like summer schools or competitions, I don't know, or like scholarships. So just like seeking out opportunities was like huge deal. And secondly, I think just like being aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not, and just like being open to work on my weaknesses.
Thanks for the answer. So there's one more thing that I'm curious about. As you know, having project is pretty important for getting accepted to colleges, since they really cover a good chunk of your CV. And we are going to ask you a question regarding this. Did you have a moment during the Earth Prize or Rise or any type of competition that you've joined where you faced a major technical challenge or thought that your project wouldn't make it to the final stages? How did you push through that, or how did you solve it as a part of the team? What was the main goal, or what was the main way of solving these problems or issues?
I feel like later in the high school years, we've got a better like instinct of what could work out. But I remember my like in my early years, when I was like in prep class or just like freshman, I think I had like a project that was focused on like building a laser therapy against osteoporosis in like astronauts. And I had like so many moments that this could not make any sense. But as I was like talking to professors and searching the literature, I, I got to have like a better sense of, wait, this could actually work out. But I was very unsure about that project, um and I just, yeah, I was very unsure about that project. And I just like kept talking to people who could be related, and until I submit the essay, just to make sure that is a useful idea. And so yeah, I feel like asking opinions, or just like trying to see your work through the eyes of a like a huge like evil critic can help on that side. Yeah.
Thanks for the answer. And there's actually one more question that we have regarding these projects or competitions. So we know that you came from Diyarbakir, a rural region, and in that region, like 5 years or 10 years ago, I mean 10 years before your accomplishments, there were not exactly many international recognitions that were coming from your city. So at what point did you realize that your projects had real potential to succeed at a global level, beyond just participating in the competition? Because at the end of the day, York's successes were some of the earliest in the city or in the region when it came to the global stage. So, how did you exactly realize and how did you eventually came to accept this fact?
Thank you so much for asking this, because I feel more ancient on that end, because like they're now like class of 28 or 27, and they're like, there are people getting in. I don't know how it's gonna happen, or was it like something about them? While my experience was just like going to Hevsel Bahçeşehir and like meeting Cemil teacher and just like upperclassmen, and then they're like, there's a little chance that we can study in the US. We don't know how it works out. We don't know like what's needed on that end, and we've never seen someone doing it, but there is a myth, and we had to believe that myth. Like that was our that was like that was our full experience. And um that's why like a lot of people who were part of class of like 21 also like studied for national university, like yeah, national university entrance exam. And because it's not certain at all, and no one did it, and this was just like it was just a myth. And how I believe that that's more than a myth was when I'm trying to calculate, was it like a ninth or 10th? Oh yeah, it's when Ezgi, who's like a senior in Harvard now, was a sophomore in high school, and she got into Yale's like summer school that everyone was like rejected before. And on that like year, like Ezgi got into like a awesome summer school from Yale, and Sayed got into like some programs from like Google. And as like they too did that, we were I remember how hard we celebrated this, and to me it was like no different from like having a real admission. And yeah, just like seeing someone else doing it, someone that is like very close to me doing it, and also um just like seeing the value in that person, like like Ezgi per se. I've always like I was always aware of like how like scientific she was, or like science focused. Scientific is the wrong word, just like how science focused she is. And and like how creative she's on that end, and like seeing her doing something, and like just like seeing how happy Jamil teacher was on for that, and being like, I could actually think about doing this too, even though I was like a prep class at that time. So community is a huge part of believing in what could be possible. And okay, that's getting a long answer, but I have like one more thing to say. And as I like graduated, I saw like a lot of like lower classmen like doing the better things than I did as I apply, and or like accomplishing things that I thought was impossible. And I think it's so, I don't know, it's so uplifting to be able to like to see it. And I think we're just like live like just like building up of each other, and it's very unique, and it's such a like a definitive thing about us. Yeah.
Thanks for the answer. So I actually have another answer regarding your projects. We know for a fact that you did most of your projects in the laboratories of digital university, since they had some technical aspects to them that needed to be researched in the university atmosphere, and your school's labs were utilized in this process too. You must have experienced difficulties in using these laboratories, just as some of our viewers may be experiencing in their passionate projects right now, both technically and in terms of the people you have worked with. Can you tell us more about these processes in the laboratories, or what type of problems you faced in these processes?
Seeing a high school student in that labs was totally like untraditional for them. We've They would like see us as a group of kids who were like around like your age, of course, and they would be like, "You guys are genius, right?" And we were definitely not. We had no idea about what we were doing, and they were like, "We have the hope in you guys," and like so just I was like always I've always like get to be aware of that our existence in that place is like untraditional, and that was one thing. And apart from that, like also like convincing people and family that you are going to pursue this path. I still talk to a lot of people like from our high school, of course, who are like tackling to convince their parents about like the things that they want to do, or that they want to be in a lab, or they want to develop a project. So believing in yourself is hard as itself. And now that this is still like now like conventional, um I think just like making other people believe in you is also hard. And it's, even though I said like I say this experience as like part of like my reflection to my conversation with people from our high school, I think it's like a general phenomena in like Turkey and like whole world. So I think it's hard to accomplish those parts.
Well, we have actually got a final question for you here. What is your last message to the people who are watching this video, who are passionate about being in a good college, or who just want to develop their own project and make a good impact in the world? What would you like to advise to them in their journey of changing the world?
Mm, I have no advice to give someone about like changing the world, but I could give advice to someone about like changing their own world. And as for that, I would say I used to watch like a lot of videos like that, and all those people would seem to me like it's like a lab grown. And just I was like in my room and I talked like I would just like re just like realize like very small things about those people as I was like watching them like talking. I was like, she uses that word, or he makes that movement, or that's the way he talks. And I was just like trying to see everything that that person does as like a part of like a lecture. And the only reason I was like that um hyper aware of the things um they were doing was that i I believe that I could have a similar experience in terms of widening my borders in life. And so if you took time to see this video, and if you um if you like cared about it, and like watched it with an aim to just like get like an inspiration or making something in your life better, I think that that is like a good indicator of that you could also like do amazing things. And I just want to like give them that like realization that but just what you're doing right now, simply watching the video itself could mean many things about you.
Well, thanks for the advice and thanks for being with us in this interview. We appreciate your answers to our questions and we hope that they help the other people who are watching this video better understand their confusions and be able to find answers to them. Thanks for watching this video and being with us, dear viewers. And as always, it was hairstyle times.